Can you hear me? Hello, everyone. And my name is Chen Nong, and you can call me Jack also. And my English name is Jack. I'm also in Shanghai, and I sit up with I am in the same team. We are all from Milvus team, and we are engineers in Milvus team. So we are running to help everyone to solve some problems when you use Milvus. And so today, if you have some questions about Milvus, so you can talk to us. We can discuss with you. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you, Jack. And anybody else wants to do a introduction?
Yeah, sure. I'm Yang. I'm not from Asian Pacific. I'm in Denmark. It's morning here. And I work in an e-commerce company, and you can see that there's also one of my colleagues, Bjorn. He's also there. Yeah, it's the same whiteboard behind us.
Okay.
Yeah, but so we're using Milvus to do this vector searches, and so I think we're mostly concerned about the performance. Sometimes I think the behavior is kind of not exactly predictable. Sometimes it's slower, sometimes it's faster, and there's no clear indication of why it's so.
Yeah.
So
well, we can talk about it. If there's some clarification we can give how to use it. And okay, and thank you, Yang. And anybody else?
I can go. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. I'm Poojan, and I'm a graduate student at Boston University. So currently it's 4 a.m., but I stay awake for the office hours. And yeah, I'm using Milvus for like an image-based image database project for my research. And I had some questions regarding like bulk insertion Milvus, and hope I can say something about that in the office hours.
Yeah, we can talk about that. And thank you. And Frank, do you want to go? Frank is actually from another project. It's actually really fun.
Yeah, so I'm actually, sorry I'm a little late, guys. I'm actually from the Tohi project, and we actually work very closely with some of the folks at Milvus. Tohi is it's what we like to call ourselves X to Vec. So we do a lot of unstructured data to embedding vector, I would say, computation. And yeah, I'm also, if you guys have any questions about either Milvus or Tohi, I'm always happy to answer some of them.
Okay, so in a nutshell, he's a machine learning guy. Yeah, and for their project, the link is in the chat today. So anybody else wants to go, or that's it? We can get started on the questions or any discussion. Yeah, maybe you want to start with what you want to discuss.
Yeah, Bjorn, do you want to go?
I'm actually the
less technical guy, so I'll probably let my colleague to ask about the more technical questions.
Of course.
Yeah, so hello, I'm Bjorn, and apparently I'm the technical guy, and as soon as I tried to turn my video on, Zoom crashed, so I'm gonna leave it off. Sorry about that. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Great. So yeah, we are trying to run Milvus in production for our problem, which is basically finding similar products, and we have like a large set of websites, and we have a requirement to find products within the same websites and products within like the global website. To update our database like on an ongoing basis. So we have basically like deletes and updates and inserts coming in all the time. And yeah, with that setup, we are seeing quite inconsistent times for writing updates into Milvus. Particularly flushing sometimes it takes 40 seconds, sometimes it takes 5 minutes, and it seems to have like very little to do with how often we do it. I've been trying like flushing after every 1,000 writes and after every 25,000 writes, and it seems the times are almost like independent on how much we're writing.
Okay. So the flush, you do it after you insert or after you delete, or do you have any other kind of operation while you're doing flush? Because like a search task can interrupt.
Currently on the setup that I'm performance testing, there's no searches going on at the same time. It's only trying to keep the data up to date.
Okay.
So
okay.
Yeah.
Are there any kind of like index building task on the back end?
Also, what version of Milvus are you guys using?
We're using Milvus 1.1.1.
Yeah, it's 1.
Okay.
As to my understanding, Milvus 2 doesn't support deletes yet, so we can't upgrade to 2 yet.
Right.
Yeah. When I heard delete, it's definitely 1.
Yeah. So basically, our update procedure it's backed by Kafka, so we're getting batches of updates spread over multiple websites, so multiple partitions.
Okay.
So we sort them into updates and deletes, and of course we can't actually update anything. So when we get an insert on update, we will first see if we already have the same vector and then delete it, and then insert the new one.
Okay, so it's like
and we're splitting them into batches by website to try to get as close to the 1,000 vector at once limits.
Okay. So
we have configured and
Continue. Sorry, I thought.
I would just mention about the index. Maybe I should say we are running the CPU version on Docker in Amazon on ECS, and the data is on NFS. Just check. We have an IVF SQ8 index. For the CPU version.
So it's after insert or after delete, the flush operation takes an unpredictable amount of time, and that fluctuates a lot, or is like by how many percent?
Sorry, how many?
I mean the flush time. The problem with is unpredictable flush time, right? Flush.
Exactly.
So how much of a fluctuation do you see?
Well, the lowest value I see is something like 40 seconds.
40 seconds.
And the highest has to be more than 5 minutes because our Kafka connection was timing out.
200%.
Yeah, but the general case is something like between 40 seconds and 2.5 minutes or something.
Okay, so the insert and the delete task are exactly the same. So the change to the data is exactly the same, or it's different?
Well, it's interleaved. So we're getting a bunch of updates, and Like for all the updates, we will first do a delete and then an insert afterwards.
Okay. So with the exact same experiment, the flush time is different. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, that's a problem I've never seen before. Jack, do you have any? Have you seen anything like that, Jack?
Yeah. And I hear your questions. So we have some troubleshooting advice in our website, and I send it to the chat, and you can connect it to see some reasons for slow query speed, and you can check it and do some tests. Maybe it will be help a little.
Yeah, I think the problem is with flush. So when he deletes the data, he does flush, and flush actually deletes the data in the physical hard drive, right? And
So before we proceed, can I so I'll ask a couple of clarifying questions, I suppose. So for your application, when you mentioned that you're doing a delete followed immediately by an insert, right? Is this because the application requires it, or is it more of, can I do, why is it always a delete followed immediately by an insert?
That's because our input data changes, so we have to update the data for a certain product.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
To my understanding, with Milvus One, that is the way to do it.
Yeah, it's like an update. It's like updating a vector.
Okay.
Yeah. That I really if everything's the same.
If everything is the same.
Yeah,
Is it possible that I understand that the Milvus also automatically triggers flush sometimes. So we're doing manual. Yeah, sorry.
And in 1.1.1, this version, the default time, the default flash time is 1 second, and every second the system will automatically flash. So you don't need to call the flash interface by yourself. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. But I'm trying to figure out why though. It's every experiment, the setup is exactly the same. I mean, the reaction should be the same. Just trying to figure out like what is
because it's actually real production data, so we don't really know if it's exactly the same, but it should be almost. So yeah, we're not like testing
it should be
artificial.
almost the same, but
at least there's no reason why.
Okay, so the experiment, so the data is from the time data is from the actual production system.
Yes,
and that's what you see on the. Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
So for that, I mean, yes, continue.
And Yang, are you in our Slack channel?
In your what channel? Slack channel? No.
Yeah.
No.
Or in our WeChat group?
WeChat, you have a WeChat group? Yes. Now I can certainly join your WeChat group. No, okay, yeah, that'll be more convenient. My colleague doesn't speak Chinese, so.
Yeah, maybe we can have a contact later in by Slack or by WeChat.
By WeChat will be fine.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, we can take a deeper look into this. I mean, so for now, just you don't even need to call flush. I mean, just let the Milvus handle that by himself. Yeah.
Right. So it's nothing to do with the search right now, but I was also wondering because there is a GPU version, and I test a little bit on my local kind of artificial data. It does perform faster than the CPU, but just to clarify, does it make, which part does it make it faster? Does it speed up the index build? For instance, do you have to use a special index to utilize the GPU acceleration?
No, I mean, so for an IVF index, so you first, you have a bunch of segments and you give the segments to your whatever computational hardware, right?
Yeah.
And then you reduce all of the results from different re-rank them and you get the result.
Yeah.
So for in each segment, the computation is done on GPU. And so basically for every IVF class IVF index out there, it can do significant.
So the GPU
but
improvement.
Yeah,
okay.
one caveat using GPU is that it needs to load all of the data into GPU memory, and that can be very expensive. If you're NQ, so the query you put in, it's low, or the task itself is kind of not the bottleneck. The IO, GPU memory IO can be the bottleneck, and that can cause issues. So, and that answers your question.
I see. So so because there are different sort of indices, and there is one particular, I think, it's called SQ8H or something. There's one with an H in the very end that's specific to the GPU version.
Yes, that's a hybrid. That's a kind of like a hybrid index that like GPU with CPU. And
so is it sort of above certain threshold you use the GPU, and below threshold? Okay. Yeah. No. Okay.
Yeah, and we have a performance report for that actually.
Yes, I can see you have some graphs.
I'll send it to you. Yeah, I'll send it to you. It's in the program, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Does it also accelerate the index building itself?
Yes, it does.
No. Okay.
You can use GPU to create index, and that's actually like half a minute too fast.
Yeah. Okay. So last question is that when you have like several partitions, does the search one partition at a time and then aggregate the results? Is that
that's
how it works?
So
that's
So for partition are built for your operation needs. I mean, if you want to, if you have some certain kind of like operational logic, you need to separate your data into different tables. You can do that, but a partition doesn't speed up the search process. It actually slows it down if you have too many. If you have
that's right. That's why I'm yes. So if we want to search kind of through the entire collection, is the search somehow parallelized through different partitions, or it go through it one by one in the linear order?
So when search, that's a linear way, but the actual sharding, the actual segmentation is called segments. It's on the hardware level, not on the hardware level, but it's Milvus does take care of it in the back.
Okay,
like
so it's within each partition. It is okay.
Within each partition, the segments are parallel.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I see. I understand. But the partitions are not. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I had to head out for a bit. So Bjorn and Yang, did we get your question about the about flush answered?
Not really.
I mean,
I can. So going back to that, I can tell a little bit about how are you guys flushing manually, by the way, or are you because Milvus has an auto flush capability that I would recommend using that, because the way flush works right now is we will have like a predefined segment size, right? And let's say that size, I think it is, correct me if I'm wrong, Jack or Sada, I think it's 1 gig.
1 gig, yeah.
And the idea is that if you flush, what'll happen is, let's say the first megabyte, let's say you have a megabyte of data, you flush that, and then the second megabyte that comes in, that ends up actually getting written in with the first megabyte, so that your segment size is actually now 2 megabytes. If you keep flushing every time you write a megabyte, it's going to keep getting appended to the previous segment that you wrote, all the way until you have a 1 gigabyte segment. Once you have that 1 gigabyte segment, it's actually going to start the next time you flush to disk, the next time you open up, you do a new write or you do a new insert, it will actually create a new segment. It won't append to the previous one. So I mean, that's a little bit about how inserts work. I know you guys said that you were doing deletes followed by inserts, which does make it a little bit. It does make it a little bit more interesting, but I think I think overall the idea should be the same. Ultimately, you might have, if you do deletes followed immediately by inserts, a lot of your earlier segments, they might have, they might become smaller and smaller and smaller. But Milvus, I believe, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, there should be some auto optimization in there such that small segments will actually be automatically merged into a larger one, as long as that segment does not exceed 1 gig. So I think that's probably why you guys are seeing a lot of performance differences in your calls to flush. So it's because you could probably try playing around with the total segment size. You could also try. I would avoid flushing manually unless you absolutely have to. If you don't have to, let Milvus do that work for you, because Milvus is the 1.1.1 is optimized fairly well, such that it will know more or less when to do a flush and when that will actually give you the best performance. Yeah. But yeah, I hope that answers your question. I don't know if it again, I do some contribution to Milvus, but I contribute mostly to Tohi. So I don't know if that hopefully
sure, we can certainly try. So we can certainly try not manually flushing, but like the automatic trigger of flushing, is it sort of either the segment size grow out of the bound, or there's some kind of a time limit, like after a certain time it will flush, or
I believe there's both actually.
Both, okay.
I believe there's both. Okay. But the time-based one, I will have to double check with some of our other Milvus contributors. But yeah, I can. If you guys, I'm happy to. Yeah. So if we also have a Slack. If you guys join the Slack, we have some. We have some contributors in there, and we can get your answers.
Okay.
Excuse me, get your questions answered a little bit better there.
Right. No, I think the reason that we kind of flush maybe is because we don't want our product after being put in. We want them to be searchable.
You want
if they're not flushed,
immediately, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. I see what you guys are saying.
But that's
Yeah. If you guys are getting fairly consistent traffic, if you guys are getting like a large amount of inserts or a large amount of deletes, I would just let Milvus do the work for you. You might see a little bit of latency, but it would make everything a lot more efficient.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. But definitely,
maybe I should
Yeah, that was a great question, by the way, young Bjorn. Again, I recommend you guys join our Slack, because I've done some contribution to Milvus, but not to the part that you guys are discussing here. So I hope I don't lead you guys on the wrong path. That's what I'm scared of.
So the recommendation is to turn off the manual flushes.
Yes. Turn off manual flushing, or you can continue to manually flush, but don't do it frequently, because you will see, don't do it frequently, or you can also reduce the segment size, but that might affect performance in other areas that I'm not too certain about. You could also try reducing segment size if you really need some more immediate performance out of Milvus 1.1.
Yeah, if you reduce segment size, it might undermine the search. Yeah, the search.
Yeah, it'll undermine search. But your inserts, you probably won't see as much. You still will see quite a bit, but you won't see as much variance in flush times.
Yeah.
The reason we are manually flushing is that, like, the next step right after inserting the vectors is to then search for them and find the relations.
Okay.
So,
I see what you guys are saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if we can rely on that, I can see we have the auto flush interval set to 1 second. So if we can rely on that 1 second, I guess we can try putting in just a 1 second sleep, which is still way faster than a 40-second wait for flush.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like a 5. You guys mentioned that it would go up to 5 minutes at some point. That is a bit. I haven't seen that personally, but I can see if you guys are doing consistent deletes and consistent deletes and
quite shattered across all the
I could
partitions.
see, you guys might have a lot of small segments. Your early segments might be filled, but then they might there's some logic going on in the background that would probably affect a lot of the performance when you guys flush. So that's a great question, by the way. Again, I recommend you guys join our Slack, and we can answer. We hopefully can answer the question a bit better there.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Thanks for taking the time.
Okay. Yeah, of course.
Anything else you want to talk about? Yeah. Is there anything else?
Yeah, sure. Like, what about the agenda for the Milvus 2? Like, I can see there's a kind of a planned date for releasing, which is pretty soon. Are you gonna make it?
Deadline is supposed to be broken. So okay, so what we're doing is we're running tests. For 10 billion for a billion data, and we want that stability test to last 3 days at least before we can push out a like what we like to call a stable version, general availability version. And so that depends on the test. If the test we're running now succeeds, it doesn't break after 3 days, we're gonna see it in 2 days. But if it does, I'm hoping for the best. I mean,
you just remove the test that's failing, and then it will pass.
And we need to have the coverage.
Yeah. Okay. So like, I read a little bit about the documentation. So it seems like the primary key or the uniqueness of primary key is still not going to be implemented in at least in the first version of Milvus 2, right? Is that right?
Yeah. Okay. If you do, it's because deduplication is very expensive, and we haven't built index for. There's no index for primary key, and for now, if you use auto ID, and that's gonna be unique because Milvus generates that. But if you use, I mean, any kind of ID you pass in yourself, you need another server. You need another service to make sure that it's not duplicate. And, I mean, this way I believe is more flexible. I mean, to have we
have to take care of the problem because we're all constantly running into the problem of duplicated keys, and it causes enormous amount of confusion.
Okay. So
one problem is that once you have like duplicated keys, it's also kind of fairly difficult to remove it.
So you're gonna have, I mean, some users has like another MySQL server, I mean, on the side to take care of this issue. I mean, on the
we do something similar. Yes.
So that's the solution for now, and we're gonna consider deduplication for primary key in the future to build kind of like what kind of index, like a traditional database kind of index. Cluster index for that.
So we also saw some, like, the primary key lookup is not particularly fast. It's also kind of in the usual database, the kind of primary key lookup should be a constant time operation, but it's apparently not the case. Right.
So that's the get entity by ID, right? That's get entity by ID. So you don't want to. You only want that to use when you want to get a few vectors. So if you want to get a whole bunch of vectors out, like you want to do data migration, we have a tool for that. Are you trying to do like migration
No,
or?
not really migration, but when we do search, because it doesn't support search by index, and it can only search by the vector. So we need to get the vector somewhere, right? We need to pull the vector out before we can search.
Okay.
So yeah, it'll be nice to be able to search by index, but since we can't right now, we have to first grab index. Sorry, we first grab the, yeah.
Do you mean search by ID? Yeah. Primary key, search by primary key. Yeah.
Right, that'll be convenient, but currently it's not possible, so we can only search by,
Yeah, and we and many users tell us that they have this feature and we have opened an issue and we have a plan in maybe in Milvus 2.1 or maybe we will achieve this feature and it's in our roadmap. You can see in our Milvus website. Yeah.
Yes, I'm very much looking forward to that.
Yeah. Stay tuned.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Thank you, John. Yeah. So, okay. And any other question? I mean,
can I go ahead?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead.
It's a free discussion. I mean, say whatever you want.
Yeah. So what I've been trying to do is my application is also reverse image search, and I've been trying to my data source, they are coming from multiple streams, and I have like 5 different endpoint from where I'm inserting the data, and I'm doing bulk insert of like I'm trying from smaller size, like around 5,000 data points at once, and I'm trying to increase the insert size till it's get compatible. And when I'm doing like from 5 points, I have instantiated the collection object, and when I do insert, I'm getting like RPC error when I try to do bulk insert from multiple threads at once.
Okay.
So I was wondering, like, what's the approach you suggest when we are trying to do bulk insert from more than one source? Like, what's the recommended approach?
So what version are you using? What version of Milvus are you using?
Milvus 1.
Milvus 1? So you're trying to do concurrent insert 5.
Yeah.
Okay. So you first thing you want to make sure is that each one of your RPC transfer is not more than half a gig. So 512 megabytes, and that's a limit.
There's a limit.
So there's a limit, and it's 512 megabytes. And if you get RPC error, that's probably the issue. And
I don't think it's that larger because the vectors are just like 64 dimensions, and like it should not be that larger. So size.
Okay, it's definitely not that. Okay. I mean, I haven't experienced any.
I saw an example on the Milvus bootcamp where there is like multi-processing insert, where it uses a full object to insert the thing. Like I'm trying something similar to that, but in my case, like I'm getting it says multi-threaded rendezvous of RPC and socket closed, something like that. It gets.
Okay, weird.
I need to see the error message though. Can you kind of like post it somewhere or?
Yeah, I can.
Let's see.
So it's basically saying RPC socket close.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, this is 1.1.1, right?
Yeah, 1.1.1.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Oh, that's the same message as.
Okay, give me a moment here.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a, Yes, Jack, do you guys have anything? I'm going to be completely honest, I'm not 100% sure. Have you guys run into anything like this before?
I mean, this error message can mean anything. It's basically
and
Yeah,
I see this
yeah, but
very
given
similar
the
error
situation,
message.
yeah, like a million other errors
it can mean like a million different things.
An error message.
No, but
with
the same scenario, I mean.
I mean, we have concurrent benchmark. We run it up to like 40 concurrent. Yeah, inserted.
40?
40, right?
So on the example, like you have run up till 40 concurrent,
Yeah.
and this is a Milvus standalone, by the way. Like I'm running that.
So it's Milvus 1.
Yeah, in Docker.
Okay. Oh, and so what is a PyMilvus version you're using?
Let me check.
Does single thread? I mean, just one client insert. Does that work or?
It's 2.0.0.
Oh, okay.
2.0.0.
Okay, so your PyMilvus is PyMilvus 2.0?
Yeah, it's 2.0.0 RC5.
Okay, so and your Milvus server is 1.1?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So that's the issue. So 1.1 and 2.0 are two completely different architecture. Is a complete overhaul. Even the underlying language will change from C++ to Go. And you need to use I think the Milvus client for 1.0, and that's yeah.
I need to downgrade my Python library.
Yeah, not downgrade. I think it's another package. Wait, Jack, is that the same Milvus? Can you share the link of the Milvus 1 Python SDK?
Yeah, I sent the link, PyMilvus link in this chat, and you can check the PyMilvus version, and you should use 1.1.2.
Yeah, 1.1 should be pip installable, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, Jack.
Yeah, I think I manually installed the latest release by specifying.
Okay, yeah. And one thing to mention is that you're saying that you saw the concurrency test, and that test is actually for 2.0. And if you click on the branch, if you go to 1.1 branch, and that file is actually not there. So the master branch is the branch that we develop on, and you can see different tags for different like versions. And we try to keep the bootcamp version consistent with the Milvus version. And yeah, always go to the right, yeah, the right branch. And what you can do is you can upgrade to Milvus 2.0. And then yeah, so just download a Docker Compose YAML file and just delete whatever you have with Milvus 1.0 and give that a try. I think the latest version is RC8, and you're gonna have to upgrade your PyMilvus version to RC8 as well. That's the latest
this
version.
should be the same version. The
yes.
PyMilvus client and the
what's
the Docker link for the latest?
Yes. I will share you a tutorial. Give me a sec.
Yeah, so one thing that I will say, because I think this is probably a question that more than, that a couple folks here I imagine might have, which is that Milvus 1.0 and Milvus 2.0, as he just mentioned, they're actually two completely different architectures. So the only thing that stays the same between 1.1 and 2.0 is actually the indexing engine. The indexing engine and the underlying search implementation. So those are the two things that stay the same. But 2.0 is entirely cloud native, and it's based in both Go and C++, whereas 1.0, 1.1 is primarily C++. So it is so for in the future, I think PyMilvus version starting from 2 they should be, well, starting from our general availability release of 2, they should be forward compatible, but they won't be backward compatible with 1. So if you guys are using Milvus 1.1 for stability reasons, I would, well, yeah, definitely use PyMilvus, the corresponding version for PyMilvus as well. And if you guys are feeling a little bit adventurous, which I hope more folks are, I would, yeah, you can try 2.0 as well. But again, our GA, it is missing some functionality, but 2.0 GA should be soon, TM. Yeah, hopefully, yeah, hopefully by the end of this month, but we'll see. We're still running some stress tests on it. Anyway, yeah, go ahead, Jack. Sorry about that.
Okay, so I shared the link where you can download the latest YAML file, Docker Compose YAML file. If you want to use Docker, or if you have a Kubernetes cluster available environment, you can use Helm to install. I mean, it's all in the same document. Just navigate around that. And
right now, I'm running the standalone, so I'll also like a quick question when running the. So I noticed that when I'm not doing any search operation or not any, when I just leave the Milvus running on background without doing anything, the average CPU usage was around 35%. Like, it's that normal?
Okay. So so what is the version? So it's a 1 point version?
Yeah.
Okay, 1.0 version, or
yeah.
That doesn't sound very normal to me. How much?
So did you like insert any data? Oh, you couldn't. You don't have the right SDK, I believe.
Oh,
so
no.
you didn't insert anything, or?
Like, I was able to insert data to it, but like when I use just like not the bulk insert, but like when I inserted stuff one by one, I had around like 4,000 data on it. But after finishing the insertion and when I'm not doing any search, Milvus is just running on the background, and at that point, like it's 35% or so, the CPU usage.
Yeah, it's possible that on the back end that the different segments, they merge with each other, and if you have index build, they're probably gonna build index on the background. And but how long did it stay at 35% though?
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah, is it always
all
around
day
30?
or?
Yeah, I think it's more or less always. Like right now also, if I check it, yeah, it's around 35% even now.
Still there.
Okay, that is kind of weird.
We're gonna need an issue for that. Can you submit an issue on our GitHub page? Yeah. Do that. And,
maybe like because I ran into the RPC error, and like it has not finished what it was trying to do. Maybe because of that, like could it be like because of unfinished transactions? I'll try from a fresh slate and see when.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
try it fresh. But yeah, go ahead.
Try fresh and insert something in there and wait and see if it bumps up. And if that's the case, we need to take care of that.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was like a totally fresh, like
like
a totally fresh Milvus installation, and it's just consuming 35% CPU in the background. That should not be happening. But yeah, you can go ahead and try what Siddha mentioned, and yeah, it should be different.
Thank you.
Of
course. Yeah, thanks for coming online at 4 or 5 a.m. By the way, we yeah, it's late hours are never easy.
Are you awake already, or you haven't slept?
I'll go to sleep. I generally sleep pretty late, so.
Okay.
We have holiday today, Thanksgiving, so.
Don't work too hard.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Those are good questions. And anything else? Anybody else that wants to talk about anything or any question? I mean, any kind of question is welcomed. I mean, we have questions about Milvus or like embedding, how to generate embedding. We can have discussion about that, and anything's welcome. I'll give it 5 more seconds. Nope. So are you guys all in the Slack channel or? Yes.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Yeah.
Definitely, if you guys have any lingering questions, go ahead and post them in Slack, and we will get back ASAP. Again, the Milvus development team, we're a little more focused on some 2.0 stuff, but we'll definitely get back to any 1.0 related questions as well. Yeah. Siddharth, do you have anything else to add, or Jack?
Not from me. Jack, do you have anything?
Yeah, I also don't have something to share. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So do ask questions if you experience anything. You know, if you want to talk about your solution or you want to discuss anything. I mean, we want to hear from the community. So we want the users to kind of direct what Milvus and Toei, I hope it's gonna go in the future. So,
and in addition, if you have some suggestions about Milvus and Toei, so you can tell us. We will thanks for every good suggestions.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Anything.
And because I know Yang and Bjorn, I know you guys were looking at some things related to 2.0 as well. So we will announce when GA is available on Twitter. And yeah, Prashant, I'm not sure if you're interested in 2.0, but yeah, we definitely, give us a follow. And when there is news, which is hopefully very soon, by the end of this month, yeah, you guys will see a post on there.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for being patient for 2.0.
Thanks everybody. Thanks everybody for bearing with us here.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, if there aren't any other comments, I think I think we can.
I just remembered something. So
go ahead.
Yes.
So what's the because I'm just starting with my application, and my estimated data size is like it's close to 500 million, the number of entries, data entries.
Okay.
And they are like I did the Milvus estimator, and it turned out to be like couple of, because they are binary embedding, they turned out to be around 2 gigabytes, I think. So like I saw the Milvus testing, and like it had 1 million and 100 million insert, like 100 million database. So but it can handle more than 100 million entries, right?
Wait, you have binary data type and oh, okay. So SQ8 is from the other guy. Sorry, I thought it was you. Sorry. The index.
I'm using
yeah.
binary data type.
Yeah. Okay. So what was your question again? Sorry.
Yeah. So like on the testing, like on the benchmark, I saw like there is 1 million benchmark and 100 million benchmark.
Yes.
But like the system can handle more than 100 million instructions, or like 100 million entries.
Yes, I mean it can. I mean if you can hold it in your memory, it's gonna be fast.
Yeah.
If the data is too big and you cannot fit in your memory, it's gonna swap and it's gonna be slow, but it's still gonna run.
Yeah.
So
like,
yeah.
I checked that like it fits in the memory, so should be fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I again, if you're working with binary data, it shouldn't be that. It should be pretty small. So I can mention it was 2 gigabytes. I personally haven't done too much testing with binary data, but I know Sita and Jack, I know they've done a little bit more work with that. So yeah, I would listen to
Yeah,
what they have.
and with binary data, there are actually some like performance issue that we know of because our underlying search engine nowhere. So with binary data, if you're trying to build index, the only kind of index you can use is IVF flat. And so when building, it's probably threading issues. We probably only use a couple of threads. And so the parallelism is not really optimized. We're going to work on that someday. And yeah, so with using Milvus, if you can avoid binary data, and that's the best. If you have to use it, and we need to tune performance. We might need to like create index building performance bottleneck.
So you're saying like
So,
it's not optimized for binary data?
yeah, it's not really that optimized because so for our search engine, we use we basically adopt whatever phase has, and for binary data, we didn't do a lot of optimization because for our users, that's not a lot of users use binary data, and only very few. So, but FICE hasn't done any like optimization on that. We haven't had the manpower to do that either. And that's on the plan. We're gonna do that in the future. But if you can avoid binary data, that's probably, if you have very, very large data set and you need a very high QPS, and the data actually updates a lot. If all of them checks out, you probably want to avoid, if you can. I mean,
Yeah. In my case, like it won't be much inserts. Like it won't.
okay.
It will be multi. So I have like a lot of archives. I'm pulling data from archives and it's like mass insertion, and also like it's more of a research project rather than like some enterprise systems. I think for getting started should be good enough.
Okay, okay. So it's a like a one-time big dump of like a lot of data dump and no more coming. Okay, so yeah, it's fine. so yeah, you can have like very large segment size, and that's gonna speed up the search. And with
so
index
when
building,
there is,
if you're not, yes.
So in scenarios of like one-time dumps, like large segment size, they help.
Yes, large segment size is gonna increase your search performance, but that's not good for growing segment because there's gonna be a larger unindexed file if your segment size is large.
But you mentioned you're using IVF flat, right?
Yeah, I'm using the IVF flat.
Yeah, that's the only index that supports a binary.
That's the only index that. Okay, all right. Okay.
Yeah.
And so like in the sizing tool, I'm looking at the bytes section. Like there is the float and bytes. There are two different sections, right, in the recommendation.
Yeah.
So like for binary data, I should be looking at the byte section. If I'm correct.
Yes. Yes.
Makes sense.
Yeah. If there is no like insert streaming data, it should be fine with what Milvus is now. Okay, anything else? Nope. You can ping me on Slack anytime if you have a question. I'd love to discuss. And do we call it a day? It's almost an hour. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks everybody for joining. Thanks, Pujan, Yang, and Bjorn for your questions. And yeah, if there's anything else, because we only hold these office hours two times a month. If there's anything else, if you guys have any lingering questions, absolutely feel free to join our Slack, and we'll get back to you ASAP.
Thank you very much. I think I've already.
Thank you for the wonderful question.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you in?
Okay.
I think I don't know if I'm connected to a real thing or just a bot. It's called the.
Oh, it's a bot. You're gonna say I want. Yeah, you're gonna say I want in, and it's gonna let you in.
I say I want in.
No, not that. But I think there's a phrase you need to say. I don't even know what it is.
There is a phrase. There is. Ah, God, no. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll try to get in. Otherwise, can you just please drag me in? Just.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
but
no,
anyway,
it's some regulation of WeChat. I mean, they only allow a certain number of people.
yeah, it says that I have
with
to
a QR
reply
code.
certain keyword, and it doesn't say what kind of keyword it is. I don't know what certain keyword is. I don't know. Yeah.
I'll send you an email, right? I'll send you.
Yeah, please. Yeah, thank you.
Sorry about that. All right.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, thank you very much for the explanations.
All right. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
Take care, guys.
Bye.